Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Lady Knight of Avalon, or Maria, and in today's video, as you've already seen in the title, I want to talk about little white books. And I got 12 books here with me. Some are actual little white books and some are a little bit fancier because some decks do that now. And the inspiration for this video came from Racine over at OwlMoon513. And in one of her unboxing videos, she said that the little white books sometimes offer some great pearls of wisdom and that we shouldn't overlook them. Now, I don't remember exactly which video it was because it's been a while since I've seen that particular video, but it inspired me to go through my own decks and look for the little white books and see if there are some books that do deserve a second look, because I know that for a lot of us readers, especially those of us who have been reading tarot for a while, we don't really give these books too much attention. But yeah, there is something great in some of these books, not all of them. And I want to show you the 12 that I picked out that I think are really good, especially like, okay, if you are a complete beginner and you're just starting on your tarot journey, these are a first impression, so to speak. I would always recommend getting another book that talks about the tarot card meanings in depth. And there are good books out there as well. And if you want me to show some of the books that I have, let me know in the comments and I can do another video about that too. And these ones, even for me as a seasoned reader, because I've been reading tarot for 25 years now, and even for me, they still offer some great insights into these cards, into the archetypes, or even into the court cards. You know, we all love the court cards. And so, yeah, these are the books that I picked. They are in no particular order. I don't really have a specific favorite. Some offer more than others, but all of these are pretty good. Before I start with the good ones, I want to show you one that is not exactly a good example, especially if you're just starting out. I really like reading with the Lo Scarabeo Tarot. It is an easy read for me. But the book does not really help out much. What it does, however, and in typical Lo Scarabeo fashion, of course, it comes in multiple languages and it does give a spread. The good thing that this book does is it talks about the creation of this deck. So you do get an insight into what they were thinking when they made this deck, and you know, that sometimes can help as well when you read a deck. So all of that. But then here we get to the actual part. So this is all the major arcana here. We get one word for the upright meaning and one word for the reversed meaning. And that is it. And that doesn't really change for the minors. Same thing, one word for each, and that's it. So this is something that I probably wouldn't really look at, but like I said, the introduction part of this is interesting and it helps me get to know the deck a little bit better. Now on to the ones that do deserve a second glance. So I'm going to start with this one first. And of course, like, keep in mind that a lot of these decks are created with specific themes, so the descriptions will match the images on the cards. This one here, for example, has a lot of dragons and fairies. So the text in this book will reflect that. So if something talks about, you know, someone with wings and flying, then yeah, it's specific to this card. But all of these books here follow the RWS system, I think. Yeah, I don't think I have any Thoth decks in here. So yeah, this is a Fournier deck, and yeah, you have to kind of unfold it to then open it up, and it comes in multiple languages. So here we have the English, and we can see then instead of just a few words, we do get full sentences and like a short, tiny paragraph for each card. And that also continues in the minors. Now let's read something for example. Okay, let's take the Magician, for example. It says, her dark knowledge offers originality and self-assertiveness. She is an ingenuous individual offering both life and death. However, beware her gentle caresses, for she wears an intricate and powerful web. She weaves. I guess I need reading glasses. Yeah, I'm holding this a little bit further away from me. Yeah, of course, this is specifically based on the picture that you see in the card. Or let's take the Chariot, for example. It says, ancient and wise, a powerful and authoritative beast, a conqueror of spirits. Its strengths of discipline, determination, and assertiveness are self-evident. Its fiery breath will vanquish all indecision. So this tells us that, yeah, with a Chariot card, things are moving forward, but indecision doesn't get you anywhere. You only drive in circles. So you actually have to make a decision on where you want to go and how fast you want to get there. So this offers a nice extra layer to the cards and the meanings that we already know. Let's look at a minor, for example. Okay, let's take the King of Wands here. It says, a true monarch of the skies, so talking about a dragon, I'm guessing, with a charismatic flair to his aeronautical endeavors, he inspires all that look upon him. So what we're getting from this is that, yeah, the King of Wands is a person who knows how to charm people to get his way. And yes, that can make him a good leader because people fall in line. Does that always mean that he has the best, interest of everyone else in mind, or does he follow his own agenda? That has to be determined by the surrounding cards, but yeah, it gives us a nice insight into the cards. So this one, nice. Now, the next one that I picked is from the Gay Tarot. It's a Lo Scarabeo, and also in multiple languages. We got English, Italian, Spanish, French, and German. We get a spread in the beginning, an introduction into the deck and, why that deck was created. And then we get the card meanings here for the majors. Now, it isn't much, but it does give us something. Let's see, we have the Wheel of Life here as an example. In life, if life on the rim makes you dizzy, move to the center. Awareness of cycles of life, equanimity, a change in fortunes, guidance from your future or past self. So it even tells us like what to do, if you don't like this, well, then do something else, So we even get kind of like an action with this. And even for the minors, we get like each card even has a specific theme, and it is put into the perspective of that, which we in turn can also apply to the others. Let's say we have the cups here. Let's do the Three of Cups. That's the three women dancing around. And here this card is titled A Good Time. Happy, comfortable times together, quiet enjoyment, celebration. So it's not much, but still it gives us all we need to know about the cards. And one thing that they do in this deck, that if this is the first deck you ever get before any other deck, here the court cards are renamed. They are Youth, Man, Guide, and Sage. So yeah, this gives an extra layer about who these people could be and what role they play at what stage they are in their lives. But yeah, these, like, some decks will do that. They will rename certain things. So that's why the little white books are not the greatest source for actual like beginners. But once you know something about the basics, it gives, like I said, a second layer. So here for the, what do we have? The Sage of Pentacles, or the King of Pentacles. Yeah, they call it coins. It says, working with resources rather than trying to control them, a mature appreciation of the natural world, patience. So here we get the sentiment that the coins are the ones that are moving slowly. So patience is a virtue, and it talks about things in a very mature way. So yeah, we do get an insight into this. Plus the pictures of this deck really help with reading it. And yeah, some of these decks, like if you want to read pictures, these are great. And then this gives you a nice extra interpretation. Now, the next one is one that I didn't think that this deck would have much to offer. I got it out of curiosity, the Tarot of the 78 Doors. And I even think that, I think it's the 8 and 9 of Swords are switched and that the pictures should be the other way around, personal opinion. It's also a Lo Scarabeo deck with the languages here, and we even get a spread. We get the typical introduction into this deck and into the keys for the doors. And then we get the Major Arcana. And once again, we get a nice little text. And for the minors, a smaller text, but still a text. So let's see. Let's take the Sun card here, for example. It says, every shadow is swept away, every doubt erased. Celebrate the dance of life with an open and positive attitude. Important projects will be realized. Don't be afraid to make decisive choices. Straight to the point and good advice. Now let's look at the minors. Okay, here we have the chalices, so the cups. Even gives a little sentence about the suit as well. And then let's see, the 8 of Cups. We have abandoned projects, separation from friends or well-established situations in search of something profound. Which, in return, we can also say, okay, just because we think the grass is greener on the other side doesn't mean it necessarily is, but we're going to go looking anyway. So, yeah. And it also, yeah, talks about the spread here. But, yeah, so we do get some good sentences for each of the cards. The next one I have is also special themed. This is the Universal Fantasy Tarot, also Lo Scarabeo. The pictures are very different from anything that you would think of when you think of an RWS deck. So this is very specific. Once again, different languages. We do get a spread, and then we get an introduction into fantasy fiction for this. And then we get the Major Arcana. We do have full sentences here. And for the minors, same thing. Some are longer, some are shorter, but we do get full sentences. So for example, so I'm on the Pentacles page now. Let's look at the 5 of Pentacles here. Too much worry about the future can keep us from enjoying the present. We have to remember that in life, as in every voyage, anxiety is never a good guide. I like that description. Let's see what the majors have to say. Let's look at the Devil card here. So the Devil says, some things that we believe to be good are really the chain that holds us enslaved. At times, we must question the scale of values that others have decided for us. Interesting. Now, some of these might be a little different from what you know. Like I said, these cards have very specific designs. They do overall follow the concept of the RWS deck, but for some, the text, like once you read it, it makes sense. I think it was like the 10 of Wands that was a little bit different. So the 10 of Wands, I think that was the card. The ability to focus on the results, ignoring all distracting thoughts, is a skill shared by artists and warriors. So that is not particular a description of the card that I have heard in other or read in other books. But yeah, once you see the picture, it also kind of makes sense with that. But yeah, it talks about what we do. And like, this is not just like, oh yeah, everything is so heavy and it's a burden, blah, 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 and all that. So it gives us a different perspective on things. And that's what I like about this little white book. Next, we have the Golden Art Nouveau. And if you, in fact, are at the very beginning of your tarot journey, this is one that I can really recommend as a beginner deck because it does have the original RWS pictures reimagined in the Art Nouveau style, but overall they're pretty much the same, just a different art style. And so this deck is as close to the original as you can get, probably, from other art style decks. We do have the different languages. We do have a spread, a little bit talking about the deck, and then going into the cards, how to use them. And here we have the inside of what it looks like. So we have quite a bit of text for the majors, and even the minors have pretty much the same amount of text, which is really great, especially for beginners. Everything is written in sentences. There are no keywords. So let's look at something here. Okay, let's take the Lover's card. It says, a woman and man standing together in the primal garden of bliss. The woman offers the fruit that dispels illusion. Choosing to eat opens the garden gates and lets in the real world. This is the choice that marks the difference between mere infatuation and true love. The lovers choose to know one another and to know themselves. So it also talks about not just like, oh my God, you're going to find a new love and you're going to live happily ever after, but it actually talks about the core issue of the card, making choices, that even in love, everything is, choosing path A or B, and everything that you choose has consequences. And here, when they chose to eat the apple, they made a choice of being kicked out of the garden. So yeah, this really offers some insights. Let's do a minor card. Okay, let's do the Queen of Cups. This queen brings grace and sensuality to everything she touches, and she smooths over rough situations with her gentle kindness. She is highly intuitive and makes decisions based upon heart rather than head. Although she may retreat into her dreamy world of imagination, she is a deeply committed mate once her heart is won. That is a very great description of the card. So you get to know that particular queen, what she does, how she acts, and why. So yeah, this is, for beginners, a very good deck and a good little white book. Next on my list is another special themed deck, the Erotic Fantasy Tarot, another low Scarabeo deck. And of course, we do have the different languages. We get a spread in the beginning, and then it takes us into the specific theme here. It talks about the eros and what that means. And it also talks about sex. So I'd say this is it could be an 18+ deck, but I mean, learning something early on doesn't hurt. And then it takes us into the meanings. Now with this one, it is a little bit divided into certain things. So we do get the initial kind of like keywords. So for the Fool, we have here innocence, look optimistically at new experiences. And then it takes us to the fantasy aspect of the card. And it says the Wayfaring Warrior. So it gives us like a description of who that person is. And the eros part here is physical and emotional virginity. And then it also gives an action that you can do, as in how to work with this deck. And it says, regain your innocence, rediscover your virginity. Now, like I said, this is very special themes. Everything here is about sex and sexuality, but still you can flip that around to other things. Like it doesn't, like if you use the normal RWS deck, it doesn't necessarily have to mean like your physical virginity. It can also mean, your innocent thoughts, the way that you think before the world has, quote unquote, corrupted you. So you get back to that innocence. And yeah, I like the way that the cards are described here. Let's look at a minor. So let's go with the wands here. For example, the ace. Unexpected solutions, victory born from disaster, desire can break and recreate ties and situations. Do not fear extreme creative and risky solutions. Nurture optimism and energy. So once again, like even with all the minors, we do get an action of how to actually deal with this card is especially good for beginners. Like, okay, now I know the meaning of the card, but what do I actually do with it? Like, what is this card trying to tell me? And here the card is telling us what it's telling us. So yeah, for that, I really like this one. And this is my second to last little white one. And the Haunted House, or Tarot of the Haunted House. Now, if you've been to my channel before, you know that is my workhorse deck. And Lo Scarabeo deck, of course, we have the multiple languages. Now my camera, yeah, thanks for focusing. We do get a spread. We do get an introduction into the deck and a how to read the cards and everything. And then we get the descriptions. Now this one is its own story because the character that is here in the Fool card is leading through the entire deck. Like this is basically the Fool on the Fool's journey, but through the entire deck. Now we will see her in most of the cards. And so, yeah, she is experiencing this whole thing. Now, let's look at some cards. So, for example, here we have the Strength card, and it is a woman looking into a mirror, so we don't really have the lion here. So, Raven gazes in the mirror. She discovers true strengths lay within. She is the lion. The lion is her. A lemniscate necklace reminds her of the infinite nature of the universe. Power, kindness, discipline, gentle, patience, prowess, composure, fortitude, endurance. So it does give us keywords, but it also gives us something to put the card into the context of the picture, because the pictures in this deck are very different. And we also get different size text for the minors, depending on what we see. Now let's look at one of my favorite cards. That is actually the Two of Wands. It has the Ouija board. Let's see what that one says. So the Two of Wands has that Ouija board. The spirit board tells all. The spark evolves into duality. What is your destiny? How will you turn intention to action? What do you see through the windows of your eyes? Passion, planning, ambition, desire, motivation, energized duality. So yeah, this gives us some questions. It gives us, an action of how to work with it. Like ask yourself some of these questions. And yeah, it does that for all the cards here. And let's look at one of the court cards. That's what they're called. Let's look at the Queen of Wands here. That's the woman sitting by the piano. It says, mature feminine vampire of fire sits at her piano. She holds the flames of attraction in her hand. Charismatic, vibrant, controlled energy. And I always compare her to Samantha from Sex and the City. And yeah, so we get a little bit of a description of the card, but also what she does and who she is in a few words, but yeah, we can make it work. So Haunted House also deserves a second look. Now, the last one of the actual little white books is for the Barbieri Tarot. and also Lo Scarabeo. This one has very specific artwork, and I think it is pre-existing artwork that was not necessarily created for tarot. So we do have the languages here. We even get the symbols explained for the court cards, because this deck, for the court cards, it doesn't have any names on it. And even for the minors, there's just the symbol and the number, and you don't have any words on it. And for the majors, I think there's also just the Roman numerals. So we get a spread, we get a quick explanation, and then we do get text for the majors here. Quite a bit of text for each card. And then we come into the minors, and it's the same thing. Quite a bit of text. So let's read something. Okay, let's go with the devil card here. You stupid human, you wear your strong parts on the inside. Wear them on the outside so they can protect you. Lock your skin, your blood, your brain, your heart safely away, and don't let anyone touch those delicate treasures. It's easy. Let me show you how. So that's an interesting take on the devil. And yeah, it's very rare for us to hear the devil say, you know, why are you doing this? Like, this makes it so easy for me to tempt you. So yeah, if you don't want me to tempt you, maybe you should do something different, and I can show you how. So even the devil can be a great teacher. Let's look at one of the minors. So let's take the 9 of Cups here. What are your wishes and desires? What are your fears? Isn't it fascinating when they are the same? Confusing too, especially when that wish you want is right there, so close. All you have to do is reach out and take it. Then you realize you're paralyzed. Interesting. Because, yeah, when you have all those wishes lined up on the shelf there or on that table behind you in the typical RWS, which one of these wishes are you going to go with first? Like, that's an interesting thought that the regular deck doesn't really talk about too much, at least not in the regular little white book for the RWS. But yeah, like I said, these books offer another great second layer and insight. Now, I do have some fancier books. One here is for the Ehrenberg Tarot. This is a fairly new one that I got like half a year ago, so I haven't really worked with this a lot. So we do get like a real table of contents here. We get an introduction. We get nice big printing, so even for us older people that might need glasses at some point. And then it does have pictures of the cards, which of course the typical little white books don't have. Then we do get a text. We do get keywords for upright and reverse. And that is true for the majors as well as the minors. So let's just do the Knight of Pentacles, since I have that page open right here. It says, the Knight of Pentacles moves forward, steady and direct. His confidence with his tools, shield, armor, steed, and most unexpectedly, rake, is made evident in his bearing. He is reliable and not afraid of difficult work. The keywords are straightforward and direct, hard work, following the plan, steady progress, and in reverse, slow progress, uninspired, and standstill. So yeah, this is a great description of a card. Now let's look at a major. Let's look at the Death card here. It says, death is an ending. Nothing is permanent. These are phrases we are all familiar with, but how many of us truly accept them? The Death card reminds us of these facts, but also that life goes on, and with the death of one thing, another is born. Death urges us to let go and accept the cyclical nature of life, to not be afraid and let go of all the little corpses we cling to, long after their usefulness is gone. Now we've got the keywords, upright, ending, transition, nothing lasts forever, acceptance, and reverse, negativity, fear of change, fear of death, and clinging. So yeah, this, like for a beginner, if this might be your first deck, this is a nice source of information, and it gives you more than just a little paragraph. So yeah, this one is a good choice. Then I have here the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. That one has been out for a while. This one was, it's from 2019. So we also get an introduction. As you can see, my spine hasn't been broken, so I haven't really looked at this a lot. Big mistake. I wish that, like, the one thing that is missing for me in this book, since this is about Slavic folklore, that it would actually give the name of the fairy tales that are connected to these cards. And that helps you understand them a lot more, because the Devil card, for example, has a specific picture of a guy stealing a fire flower. So yeah, there is a story behind it. So let's see what the book here has to say. Okay, it says the devil is called captivity. According to an old Slavic legend, of the night of the marriage of the water and the sun, the one who finds the magic flower of the fern will be granted full knowledge of everything in the world. He will be able to see the treasures underground, to read the thoughts of other people, and will gain power over evil spirits. But this magical flower is guarded by an evil force, and the one who tries to abduct it from the forest awaits a terrible trial. Enraged spirits will drive him mad, and will send horrible visions that can kill if the brave man turns around to look at them. This card tells us that our souls are killed by consuming passions, burning desires, pride, and a self-destructive desire to achieve at all cost. They are likely evil spirits that haunt us. Ambition and vanity, base instincts, the desire to become better than others, and are entangled as if by a network of your mind, which overshadows your vision and leads to destruction. In order to free yourself from this trap, listen to the voice of reason, and you will be saved from the captivity of your passions. So it goes a little bit into it, but I would still like to know the name of the story so that I can read the whole thing and, you know, see what other messages are in there. Now for the minors, we get a little bit of a text, not as much as the majors, but still each card still has a title. So here we have the Eight of Cups. It's called Exodus. This card examines the rejection of what was too costly, the breaking of old ties, the search for new meaning, new attachments, goals, sad farewell, fear of uncertainty, feeling of despair and doubt about the future, getting rid of unnecessary things, trying to update. And then we also get the upright and reverse meanings. So we have transitional period, parting, uncertainty, or communication, correction, end of a difficult period. So yeah, even for a beginner, this is a great help to look into. And yeah, of course, it touches on the specific stories that are shown here, at least in the majors. Not so much in the minors, though. And that is the one thing that I don't like about this book, that these stories are not mentioned. But otherwise, some useful information. Now, another one that is really nice, well written, and even a bit sassy is the Housewife's Tarot guidebook. And this one gives us a small image of the cards, not the entire card, just the person and what they're doing, not all the stuff that's going on in the background. So, and we do get some keywords with it. I think there's like 3 keywords for each card. So let's see what the Five of Wands here has to say. And by the way, it's the same thing for the majors. Same thing, like every Every page, every card here looks the same. Okay, so the Five of Wands. It says, growth and progress give way to inevitable conflict. The Five of Wands depicts a weary housewife besieged by household appliances. These domestic assailants seek to overwhelm her just when things were going her way. You may need to reach deep inside yourself to discover what is it that makes you stand out. Which secret weapon will leave your competition in the dust? Or one card that I also like, I have to see the, I'm looking for the Knight of Swords, for example. So this one here is the guy on the motorcycle with his fold-out comb, like a knife. This always reminds me of the Johnny Depp movie, Crybaby, kind of like. So it says, rebellious, egotistical cocksure. And the text then here says, a rebel with a cause, the Knight of Swords rides into town full throttle, never looking back. He's all swagger, swill, and sexiness, the bad boy from the wrong side of town that mother warned you about. Though his cockiness has all the gals aquiver, it's best to worship from a distance. He's out to get what he wants, regardless of whom he mows down or knocks up in the process. He doesn't intend to be so callous and blind to the feelings of others. He just never remembers to remove his shades to see clearly. So these descriptions of the cards are really fun. And let's look at one of the majors. Oh, one of my favorite cards is the Judgment card with the bacon on the scale. And here it says assessment, acceptance, and harsh criticism. So this one says, the time has come to weigh the facts and yourself. Judgment is about abandoning bad habits and accepting yourself for who you really are. Don't be modest. Take credit for all your good deeds and valuable traits. Shed the negative thoughts that weigh you down with their high-calorie burdens. True happiness is more about eliminating low self-esteem than losing those pesky 5 pounds. So yeah, this is a really fun book to look at. And even as a beginner, with these very specific depictions of the cards, it is a great way to start. And now the last one, this one actually offers the most insight into anything. And I just need to take a sip of tea. Okay. Is the Influence of the Angels Tarot Guidebook. It's quite thick. And so this book here, this is from 2018. It's a US game systems deck. So we do get some introduction into this because for these cards, they take artwork that exists and they have photoshopped little things into the pictures, like little items. And so it talks about like what it means when angels are here, certain symbols, direct meanings, and shadow meanings are always listed in these cards. And what we also get is a description of the picture. Like it does actually tell us what we see and who is depicted in the cards. And it does that for all the majors. So here we have the Emperor. The one that is depicted is Metatron. And it says, Metatron is said to be the highest ranking angel in heaven, second only to God in strength and wisdom. On the card, Metatron poses as an earthly ruler. And then it goes into the symbols that are depicted on the card. So we have his scepter, the orb with a key and what that means. Then we have the ram head icon, which is also on the card. There is a crown that he wears. What does that mean? And then we have keywords for the direct meaning and the shadow meaning, aka reversed. So there is a lot here. And what I like is that they really explain the picture, and they even do the same thing with the minors. That's why this book is so big. So for the minors, for example, here we have the Seven of Swords. The first thing that they do is they go into the numerology. They always explain what each number means. And then they go into the symbols that you can see on the cards. In this case, we have a wolf, we have a man. So yeah, there's a man running away from a wolf. We have the sheep crook and swords and daggers that he's holding. And then there's also angels in the cards. And then we get to the direct meaning and the shadow meaning. So you can see for just one card of the minors, like this goes over 2.5 pages. So there's a lot to work with. And that goes for all of the, like here's the Four of Cups. So here we have half a page. Then we have this lengthy description of the card. And then we get the symbol here of the cups, and then direct meaning, shadow, and even an angelic message. And some of these cards, do they all have that? I think they should. Did I just? Yeah, they all have these angelic messages at the end. And for the court cards, there is even, it says who that is, even when they lived and died. And yeah, so we get a lot of information about the cards. We don't have to wonder who we see in the cards, and we don't have to, you know, bust out Wikipedia to find out what that was. Like, it tells us all this stuff here in these descriptions in that book. So for that reason, this, especially as beginner, now it's not the typical RWS deck, but if this is your first ever tarot deck and you really want to work with this deck, this book gives you so much information, and you can, yeah, start reading tarot with just this book if you really want to, because there's a lot that you can pull from in this book. And it goes like, here we even have like a spread and second one. So yeah, it goes like almost all the way to the back. And then we just have these 2 spreads here, and about the author's page, and the rest of this book is really full of descriptions of the cards. So yeah, that was all of my books that I have, even the one that wasn't so good. So yeah, what are your favorite little white books, or, you know, colorful little books that come with the tarot decks? Let me know in the description. Maybe I have some of them and I've completely overlooked them in my collection. And yeah, let me know what you think. Like, do you have a favorite that you have turned to? Did you actually get some good information out of the little white books, or do you completely ignore them? So please let me know in the comments. I always love to hear from other readers. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.